The lights are off and away they go.
Extremely loose. He's managed to hold on and they get.
He missed the complete. He's crazy stuff.
Side Freitas is on the grass on the infield floor. He slides through. He tags Richard Neagle.
The aroma of Belgium's chocolates mixed with the smell of engine exhaust as this afternoon's circuit of Spa-Francorchamps plays host to the Absolute Beginner League's Formula Neagle. As the season reaches its final two races, Tuan Tran and Errol Num are locked in a no room for mistakes knife fight for the championship. It's round 7 of 8 on the season 10 schedule, and you'll be able to see all the Skip Barber open wheel action live as it happens here on the Global Sim Racing Channel. Good Nachmittag, everyone, and welcome to GSRC's Countdown to Green. I'm Bill Soup Zahn. Joining me in the booth is Adam Forever Young. Turning the knobs and pushing the sliders is our director, Amjad Yaman. And Dougie Beard is our camera guru. Over the next 15 streamy, award-worthy minutes, GSRC will bring you all the storylines, all the stats and facts you'll need to fully appreciate the 45 minutes of Skip Barber simulated racing that will be streaming your way. GSRC's coverage of Formula Neagle is made possible thanks to the good folks at ilovesimracing.co.uk, the home for your personal created button boxes. I love sim racing, sim race your way. Now, if you were with us last time for round 6 event from the Northern Loop at Nürburgring, you saw one heck of a final sprint to the checkered flag. 35 drivers signed up to brave the Green Mile. Only 31 would complete the first lap. And after the first lap, it became clear that there were 3 drivers in serious contention for the win: Tuan Tran, Errol Num, and newcomer Patrick Fliss. Only 6 laps of racing could be squeezed into the 45-minute time limit. Num pitted on lap 4, while Fliss and Tran stayed out 1 extra lap. By the time the pit cycle was finished, Num had lost touch with the leading 2. When those two, Fliss and Tran, came to the final straight, Tran was in front. Fliss gobbled him up early to take the lead. Tran fought back to retake the lead, but Fliss was not done. There was still enough road left for Fliss to retake the lead and hold it for the win. Tran had to settle for second, but still ahead of his nearest championship threat, Num, who came in third. But that was then. To talk about the now, let me reintroduce my booth mate, Adam Young. Adam?
Yeah, Soup, of course, today at one of the most historic racetracks in the world, Circuit d'Off Spa-Francorchamps. You're much better at saying that than I am. I'm horrible at pronunciations, but everybody knows that. Of course, this track was designed in 1920, and, it originally only had 25 turns over its 9.3 miles, about 14.9 kilometers there in the metric system. And after World War II, after a break and all that, because of the war, they came back, they shortened the track, and it still was the fastest road circuit in Europe. Now, it's stayed the same for quite a long time. In modernization, starting in the 80s, they shortened it up a little bit more, and then, of course, the modern layout that we're racing today has been around since about 2007, and that's over the course of 4.35 miles, or about 7 kilometers on the nose, and encompassing about 20 turns. But like I said, one of the most challenging racetracks still in the world. Everybody loves running Spa. Let's go ahead and take you a lap around the place.
Alright, we've got Amjad Yaman and the GSRC Skippy, so let's do a lap around Spa. Heading down to La Source, this is a possible overtaking spot, but it's a bit pointless in these cars because of the drafting section that follows. What's more important here is keeping out of trouble on lap 1. Give each other space and don't be stupid. It's also critical to get your exit right because you won't be lifting all the way until you reach Lacombe. Hesitate on the power and you'll be losing time for a significant chunk of the course. Now, as we hit the bottom of the hill, the car will compress in Eau Rouge and then get light across Rodillion. Straighten them out as much as you can, but be very careful not to cut the course at the top. You'll be losing position after position as you try to give the time back down Kimmel Straight. At this point, you'll want to tuck into the draft of the car ahead. Even if they're a second and a half away, you'll be getting help, so it's worth following their slipstream. If you got everything right, you can be fully passed by the braking for Lacombe. If you're not, it'll be a battle of positioning your car and outbraking your opponent. Both sides can defend, but it takes respect from both drivers to give room. Hold left just a bit on the exit to give a better run through Malmedy, which should only require a little lift on entry. By now, we're at the highest point on the track. If you're sneaky, Rivage is another corner that can offer passing opportunities. But it's a 180-degree right-hander, so learning to balance your car is going to really help you feel confident through here. You'll need that if you find yourself going toe-to-toe with another car. Now we switch right and give the lightest of brushes on the brakes for this left-hander. If you get it wrong, you're going to put you and your opponent in a very awkward position because Pouhon isn't really a passing zone. Going too wide through there isn't the best of ideas. This is another long downhill turn that really requires a good balance and an excellent sense of timing for when to apply the gas. Thankfully, by now we've hit the bottom of the hill and we'll switch left for Fagnes. This is a medium-speed chicane, so it can be possible to get passes done into here. It just isn't always the easiest of propositions. Like most chicanes, it's more important to set up for the second half. But in this case, it's only a short stretch afterwards, so if you botch it, you're not in too much trouble. As soon as you're done with that, we hit Curva Paul Frere. The first half is much slower, but it's the second apex that requires perfection. Only a tiny lift will get you through correctly, and you don't want to give away any more than you have to. Once again, Spa provides a winding stretch of road where drafting will wind up making it something of a strategic game. Then, you come upon Blanchimont. Once again, it's up to the more daring drivers to see how little they can let off the power on their way in. But there's no time to relax because you've got to line the car up left and put the binders on for the bus stop chicane. Whether you still consider it the bus stop chicane is neither here nor there because it's both a technical and gutsy corner. Pass attempts happen often, but outthinking your opponent can allow you to outdrag them out of the second apex with a good over-under. But the giant curves, the huge deceleration, and the change of direction means many drivers get tangled up with each other. But if you got through clean, you've now finished a lap around Spa.
I'm Jed Yaman behind the wheel, Joe Peak behind the mic, taking us a lap around Spa. Interesting note, if you only count Spa as 3 letters, SPA, this track has the largest mileage per letter ratio on the iRacing service. This is a little trivia information for you. Doesn't work if you go with the whole full name, though. And now, with that little trivia underneath there, let's go ahead and take a look at the championship. There you see it. It doesn't really take a lot of explanation. Tuan Tran of Mama Jean Racing leads Errol Num of Bushfink Pink by 4 points with this and one more race left. Tran is the Season 6 champ. Num has crowns in Season 7 and 9. Num has been on the pole for all but one race and has a pair of wins. Tran has yet to earn a pole, has only 1 win, but does have 4 second-place finishes. David Third Degree Burns of DBR2 Stupid Dogs is hanging on in third, but Patrick Fliss is closing fast on the final podium spot, but so far Fliss is a no-show today in Belgium. Tran's MJR teammate Bastian Hausmann rounds out the overlay. Now to the team championship where there was no movement there. But I can confirm that there is a 93-year-old lady watching on her laptop right now, upset in California that it's too early in the day for a celebratory martini because Mama Jean Racing is very close to clinching the team championship. DBR's Two Stupid Dogs is 38 points back, powered by David Burns and Vincent Brem. Num has Bushfink Pink safe in third. Liam Quinn and Johan Vanderbilt have DBR2 Team Talent in fourth. And trying to hang on to the graphic is Am Racing. Okay, Adam, we've introduced the track, reviewed the drivers and the teams. Let's talk about the details of what's on tap today.
Yeah, of course, this is the 10th season for the Formula Neagle Series, driving that Skip Barber car. Just narrow tires, low downforce. These things really do slide around Spa. It's fun to watch. Of course, we're running round 7 of 8 today, all on road courses, and also one more race than what we've seen in past seasons. 5 of those races are at 45 minutes, including today's, and 3 races were at the 70-minute mark. Now, for today, of course, they are running open setups on these Skip Barber vehicles. The fuel is usually set at 55, but I believe they're going to go ahead and bring it up to 65% for today, given the length of the straights and fuel consumption, just to try to make sure that we do get that one pit stop in. So qualifying is 3 laps long. They are in the middle of that right now. We'll talk a little bit more about that in a second. The race, as I mentioned, 45 minutes. It is a standing start. Yellows are going to be local only for today. The incident cap is at 17. There are no fast repairs here in the Absolute Beginners League Formula Neagle Series. And for your weather today, of course, running that dynamic weather, we're looking at a temperature of about 67 degrees, track temperature at 94 degrees. That's I believe around 32 degrees Celsius for you guys. My wife would come in here and tell me right away if I was wrong, but she's outside. Southeast winds at about 12 miles per hour.
Oh, for those of us who are metrically illiterate. Let's go ahead and talk about the track a little bit and how it plays out for the racing. Big draft track here at Spa.
Yeah, it really is. And I mean, this is the way the track is set up and everything else. I mean, you're going to see that draft at play almost just right away here today. I mean, we do have the start-finish line, then we go into La Source, and then immediately going up a long straight into Eau Rouge, and then down the Kimmel Straight. So turn 7, once you get to some of that draft, if we're still running too wide, I mean, that can make things pretty interesting going into that 7, 8, 9 combo, otherwise known as Lacombs.
Yeah, now what is very interesting, we've done a lot of races here, especially in these underpowered cars. I've done a ton in the Skippy, ton in the MX-5. And the exciting pass, as long as you're anywhere within first, second, or even third, anything can happen going into the bus stop. And there's enough room between the exit of the bus stop and the start-finish line for a drag race to happen.
Yeah, there is. And I mean, as you've seen, it seems like a couple of races this season. If there's one thing that these guys are good at, whenever iRacing, introduces the drag racing mod, #soon, they'll be able to compete in that pretty well, because we know these guys are really good at getting down those straights.
Looking at some of the qualifying that's going on right now, Adam, it's a little interesting. Either he's just a little bit off pace, not sure is really going to matter. I'm talking about Aero Num. He was slow in practice and still sitting third right now. We talked about him earning 4 poles already. Surprised to see him down so far in the qualifying. He's working on his 3rd lap right now.
Well, and that's not uncommon. A lot of those 4 poles, for the most part, came very earlier on in the season. I mean, I know we're only talking about round 7, but the 3 races that he hasn't won the pole at, he's he started in that kind of 3rd, 4th, 5th range, but he always, even before the end of lap 1, manages to be up toward the front. Even if he finds himself behind, he knows how to get back up front. We're talking about Euro Num here, the rolling Estonian. So he'll be able to get the job done regardless. But one thing I am not surprised at is that Tuan Tran leading the way early here.
Basically a race within a race here. Of course, everyone wants to finish well, but for Tuan Tran and Aero Num, they're going to be watching the standings right now. They just need to finish ahead of each other. Basically, if Aero can finish ahead of Tran both races, he should have that championship. 4 points Tran's going to have to beat him at least once here. Okay, it looks like the qualifying is done. Am I correct on this, Director? Or we still have a little bit of time. Yeah. Oh, let's go ahead. Since it's a standing start here, I think it's pretty much done. Hey, talk about the standing start. They're going to start before La Source. Now, this is going to be really interesting on this hairpin coming up. Hopefully, they can get through it nice and clean. A lot of runoff area, though. We'll watch that a little bit later. There we go. You see it up there, Tuan Tran and Aero Num. Adam, let's take it a row at a time. We'll alternate so we have some extra time.
Yeah, absolutely, Soup. But of course, Euro Num gaining that last position there, right on his 3rd lap there. Bastian Hausman starting in 3rd. Row 2 is going to belong to the outside of David Burns.
Pierce Cockey, who was very fast in practice, in the 5th position, inside of a newcomer, Javier de Diego.
Andrew Leach and Henry Kamara are going to occupy row 4 here.
And then row 5 is, hey, welcome back. He's a champion from season 8. Johan Hallberg. Haven't seen much of him this season. Inside of Vincent Brem.
Row 6 is going to go to Flourish Bashir, and then on the outside of him is going to be Jefferson Padovani heading into La Source.
In the Baker's Dozen spot, it's Ricard Allard, who's been doing a lot of racing by himself this season. Let's see if he can get in a battle today. Liam Quinn in 14th.
Stuart Mathers and Luke Truhols starting in 16th position.
Michael Hofflandays, and good to see Michelle back here with us. Joachim Lundstrom in 18th.
Hugo Gutierrez starting in row 10 alongside Neil Bamber.
Hitting blackjack is Rodrigo Capeletto Fierreira, and then inside of him, or outside of him, will be Fabian Youngbluth.
Yep, drivers meeting already started, so we know we're getting close. Andy Moore and Andy Bonar, it's 2 Andys starting in row 12.
Quarter century mark is Nick Sigley and Roger Prickton in the 26th spot.
Adam Bradshaw and Kevin Mills in row 14.
Then rounding out this overlay is Guillermo Barros and Mark King.
Yeah, then Anthony Robinson and Ionis Christodoulou starting in 31st and 32nd.
Row 17, Thomas Kick and Edgar Sanchinelli.
Mike Kublank and Didier Smith starting in row 18.
19th row is going to be filled up by Tony Matthews and Jacob Younger.
Yeah, Matthew McMahon and Michael Groom are going to make up row 20 here with 40 cars so far.
Then the final group of cars here that don't have a lot of these, I think we have one more in there. Jay Berg is going to be in 41st position. And I don't think any of these other guys back here did not practice put in qualifying time, so I think Berg is going to be our last driver. 41 drivers, I think, are going to take the grid here today. 41 drivers put in qualifying time. All right, watch them line up now in front of La Source. 41 drivers. The good news is La Source has a lot of runoff area to the left as they come around that hairpin. Yeah, it's a really tight hairpin, but it's a really, really, really wide hairpin, so there should be plenty of room for everybody to get around if everyone behaves. 45 minutes of racing, 1 pit stop that will be needed, and this is our second to the last, the penultimate race of the season. A race within a race between 41 drivers, and then the 2-car matchup between Tran and Num. Engines are up. Gather up the chickens. Take cover behind the cows because the horses are out of the barn. Leading the stampede into the first corner, Tuan Tran, Num behind him. Hausman in 3rd position.
There was a little bit of contact out in the back, but I think everybody for the most part has been able to keep going straight here despite the contact, but already a pass up front.
Watch up front, and yes, we have a new leader up there.
Euro Num was able to take that lead going into Eau Rouge. Tuan Tran was not going to fight him there, but we're already seeing that draft at play with Tuan Tran and David Burns right behind him.
In fact, it didn't go 3 wide. There goes Tran, and on the outside, it's Third Degree is going to lead for a little while. Everybody works their way through the combs now. Tran back into 3rd position. If the race were to end right now, which would be tragic for all concerned, Num would still be behind Tran. Num would like to get up into the lead. Look at this 4th driver coming into play here. There's some issues there could have...
Oh, it's still going on back there.
Looks like it was Kevin Mills was involved in this one.
Yeah, a little bit of a stack up with Anthony Robinson and Kevin Mills, and I think Kevin Mills ultimately ended up getting the worst of it here.
We are back live as we look at the racing going on right now. Burns out in front. Num in 2nd and Tran in 3rd.
Yeah, these guys right now, just mostly just doing passing on the straightaways. Haven't seen too much action yet in the corners, but still a lot of draft action, just as what we thought here today so far. Tran right now still sitting in third, just kind of biding his time right behind, with in front of him Burns and Num, except Burns taking a little bit of a look as they get ready to head into turn 19 here. That tight right-hander, it's a little squirrely, kind of backs up that little front pack that we had going there. Now what you're looking at here is Euro Num running 1, David Burns 2, Tran now in 3rd position, and Piers Cocky in 4th. Somebody I believe is now missing his front wing there, trying to figure out who that is. Big Javier Delgado was the one that was missing his front wing, and as he went into Eau Rouge, he got tagged half sideways. Man, that could have been a lot worse than what it ultimately ended up being here. Still seeing him mixing it up back there, but that second pack has definitely been separated. Oh, hell, Half-A-Dayson is around. The guy got a little loose, and then somebody ran off the track. I'm not sure who that was. Ended up getting into him.
And that
entire
I think,
third pack ended up missing him when he was sitting sideways on the track. Half-A-Dayson able to get going. Ultimately didn't hit anything, but very scary moment up there toward the front of the pack.
Okay, had some technical gremlins, but I'm good to go now. Let's go ahead and run down how they run right now. Still out in front, it is Burns is your... No, I'm incorrect on that, is it? Okay, it is Burns. Boy, my timing scoring still off here. All right, Burns is running in 1st position, Num in 2nd, and Tran in 3rd. You go ahead, just as we're watching these, go ahead and just subtract 1 from all that stuff. We're showing a wrong leader out there right now. Cocky running in 4th. Now let's go back to 5th here, Director. We haven't seen much from him. This is Jefferson Padovani. Haven't heard much from him this season, Adavani, but Adavani, there's a little combination between the two. Having a good run in 6th, just ahead of De Diego and Hallberg.
Yeah, of course, Javier missing his front wing complex there, and all that air rushing into the front part of the car. So he wants to try to hang in the draft as much as he can. Of course, we talk all the time about how the front wings on these Skip Barbers do get a little bent. It doesn't affect them too much, but I do think that damage right now on Javier's car was definitely enough to affect his aerodynamics on the front end of these long straights.
In fact, if we look now at this pass, this is Hallberg making the move. He'll have the preferred position here as they go through this really fast left-hander heading down towards the bus stop. De Diego drops back into 8th position. And again, I got to remember that's actually 7th. That's what caught me by surprise there. Our timing scoring is a little bit screwy right now. Oh, now I think we're good. Now we're back here. Okay, I think we're in good shape. David Burns back out in front and also showing in the lead right now. They work their way through the source. There you see the Ford leaders. Adam, the guy I think is the sleeper in this one is the one in 4th. He was really fast in practice. I'm talking about Piers Cocky.
Yeah, Piers Cocky's kind of might be a little bit of a dark horse here for today. He set the fastest time in practice, as you mentioned, good bit faster than everybody else, in fact. So probably had quite a bit of draft help on that lap, but still, he's definitely shown some speed here at Spa today. It looks like Euro Num's going to be trying to go back to the front here around David Burns, and Tran's going to make his presence known in this battle as well.
Yeah, talk about being a sitting duck. My goodness, not only do you use 1 position, you lose 2. Maybe even 3. Burns goes from 1st to 3rd on 1 straightaway. Cocky back there. Maybe saving fuel. One of Pierce's problems has been, and we thought he had that bugaboo out of the way, but it comes back to haunt him every once in a while, and that is not taking enough fuel during the pit stop, and he seems either has to pedal it at the very end or he actually runs out of fuel. Hopefully he can get those numbers down right now because he has the pace to be very competitive.
Yeah, I get the feeling that he's definitely back there just kind of biding his time right now, and I think you're exactly right. It might be a kind of a fuel-safe strategy at this point. Of course, with these long straights, it definitely can be a little bit of a fuel guzzler on these cars, so you definitely want to try to save as much as you can in that draft, and I think he's trying to accomplish that right now. That kind of front four there is just kind of broken away from everybody else, so now the goal, of course, is to stay up there. Of course, right now also looking at a couple of smaller packs. Of course, you have Johan and Javier back there for 6th and 7th, but the next larger pack of cars, you actually have to go back to 9th on back, where these guys actually have a pretty decent battle going on, just because the guys up front right now.
Yeah, up there leading that pack is actually, it's Lundgren up there in 8th and a large. A great battle was happening between Mr. Excitement, Liam Quinn, and Floris Bashar behind him. Bashar was all over him. It was a battle to get inside the top 10. That has cooled off a little bit. Bashar went in really deep, put it off into the sand. Then a driver that's been catching our attention as well. We've seen him have a few incidents. One of the memorable ones was a pit lane incident with Quan Tran a few races ago. I'm talking about Henrik Kamara running back there in 12th position. Look at them bunch up as this battle, as they go through the bus stop now. The last car in that train, Kamara, the first car in that train. Up there, the number 74 of Allard. It's a race for 8th.
Yeah, I think one thing that's going to shake this up here in a minute is, they're definitely catching the pack, the two-car group here of Johan Hallberg and Javier De Diego. Of course, both those guys do have damage, so we'll have to see once they fall back here into the midst of that 5-car pack how exactly they do mix in. I mean, is it going to be chaos, or is they going to just mix in seamlessly? Of course, when you get that much damage, sometimes it's hard to hang on, but Javier De Diego is using that draft to his advantage right now, looking on the outside, he'll be on the inside of Hallberg.
It's 3 wide, and they managed. Oh my goodness! I thought they were going to get together. They get it sorted out. Now it is 2 in front, 2 behind. They still managed to get that working. Boy, that was some great. How about that great overhead shot there? Dougie Beard camera, Amjad on the controls. Nice pictures. I need to get a confirmation on, and maybe our director can help me. I'm looking at Jefferson Pavavati in 5th. He's being chased by Bastian Hausman, who's being scored in 31st. Oh, he pitted early. Okay, I wanted to make sure we didn't have a timing of scoring. Well, we think that maybe he had a penalty or something. That's why he is indeed a lap down. Okay, just wanted to make sure that my little software wasn't playing tricks on me. Of course, Bastian, we're used to seeing him run up front. That's why I thought it was a little bit unusual. Get the Lundgren going, taking in an unusual racing line. Good fighting all the way around. This battle that we've been watching here, back here for 12th, very exciting. Up front is still those 4. There have been some jockeying for positions, but it's very well behaved. It's just, Adam, it's as if they know they're not going anywhere. It's not like, oh, I need to get in front. It's kind of like the guy, trying to get around you to race to the red light. I mean, here we are sitting at the red light. Was it really, back there, cocky saying, it doesn't matter if I run 1st or 4th right now. I'm just as long as I stay in touch.
Pretty much. Pierce Cocky, of course, has been looking for a really good finish here, and he as you said, he has the potential today. There's no reason for him to push the issue with any of these guys back here. Let them be up there in jockey position right now.
It could be even a point where Burns out in front. We've used this pun too many times, but right now Burns is burning the most fuel. Maybe not really the advantage to be leading the way too much, as those 4 just continue to put in laps. Pavavani in 5th, all by himself. He has at least a drafting partner of Bastian Hausman, even though he's a lap down, they can still work together. We drop back a little bit, you can get an idea. We drop back to 6th there. And there is Bashar and Hallberg. Welcome back, Johan Hallberg, season 8 champion. He's been away for a little while. He's in a nice little battle. There's De Diego. We've been watching that one. In fact, here comes the champ right now. Now he's going to be on the outside as they go down into Lacombe here, and yeah, he's just going to back out. They are working lap number 5. That is really kind of pointless in a timed race. 32 minutes and a half still to go. And now our director has us back on this great battle here for 9th. Out in front, Mr. Excitement Quinn. He's being challenged by Lundgren. Bushfink driver trying to get in there. Let's go back another pack now. Bambi out in front. Neil Bamber there running in 13th, being chased by Youngbluth and Leach. As they work now into Puhan, this sweeping left-hander. There's an attempt being made now, making the move on the outside, getting a nice strong Youngbluth. Leach back there still finding a way around. Adam, you know, looking at this battle, you get the impression that this is indeed race number 7. These guys have really settled in. A little more patient, a little more conservative racing going on than what we saw earlier on in the season. When everybody had visions of a championship in the stars in their eyes.
Pretty much, you know, and these guys, of course, the series puts on some of the best racing you'll find, especially with these cars being underpowered and everything else, and narrow tires. These guys, it takes a little bit to settle into a car combination like that. That takes, you know, a little bit more driving than I think some people expect, considering the fact that it is technically an entry-level open wheel car. But you've got to be up on your toes to drive it here, and you know, I think that's kind of where you get at with as far as settling in, is that these guys have finally gotten to that point to where they're comfortable driving it all the way.
Got a kick out of watching Barrow some kick there that our director was on. That was a battle for 16th. Kick falls back there. Back up front, let's see what's going on with the dance team. Right now they've decided that they're going to let David Burns lead for, well, he's been out there. Here comes Tuan Tran, going to peek on the inside. He gets 1, and he says that's enough. They go side by side. Be careful, boys. Those are your 2 points leaders racing each other.
Yeah, we've seen both of those guys have their own separate troubles the last couple of weeks too.
Yep.
So, you know, last thing they want to do is hit each other. They want to, you know, obviously they want to, you know, win the points battle, but at the same time, they probably don't want to be the cause for the other one to lose the points battle.
One of the most dramatic races that we saw, as we ride on board now with Tuan Tran. Remember, he had a qualifying, not really his fault. It was a technical issue where he couldn't get into qualifying. He had to start from the back of the field, of a huge field, and he was able to race through, had a couple incidents, and make it up to 15th to grab a point. And that actually, that point when you're in such a close battle for the championship, you know, that race that he had there where he finished 15th, that may be the reason he wins the crown this season. Right now, he's racing behind them. Go ahead.
I was going to say, you hit the nail on the head. We're definitely at that point where every single point matters. So even if you have something happen to you, you can't just quit out. I mean, you got to get back into the pits, try to do something, and try to get back into the points discussion today. And now, granted, a track like Spa, I mean, that might be kind of hard to do if you do have an unfortunate incident, but you still got to try.
Go back, take a look back here at Joachim Lundgren running in 10th. I believe he's about to be passed. These guys, again, it's kind of just a pointless little pass, but one, keep an eye on Hendrik Kamara. That's a guy I've been watching here. I think he's going to make the move here as he ducks to the inside. Yep, he'll have the preferred position around this left-hander to get that spot, move him up to 10th. Well, maybe I spoke too soon. Look at the drive there. And now, not only does he not get the position, it looks like Mr. Excitement is going to move in there, steal that one away, and then so does Joachim Lundgren, who gets a little bit loose, working through the bus stop now. Watch the drive off here to the start-finish line. Well, Kamara, Hendrik, I thought you were going to move up to 10th. You end up back in 12th. wanted to take a second to dig a little deeper since things are very passive right now. How about 19th position, Director? Oh, look at it. Well, let's see where we are for a minute. Let's see how this... Okay, we'll go. All right. Make up my mind, the Director says. I wanted to go back to 19th. I saw what the fighting was going on the screen. They're going through
I hate to do this to you, but a little mix-up up front. Pierce Cocky finally taking advantage of trying to get a position up here.
Let's go there.
David Burns has followed the second. Tuan Tran now taking the lead with Euro Numb now falling back to fourth.
There we go. So Cocky, look at this. Numb back in fourth. Now, I almost wonder here, if Arrow's decided to get back into fourth position. So maybe he can come in and pit by himself. Now, I would usually think that Arrow's so fast that he could run away from these guys. But Adam, I'm not really sure if you can afford to think that you're faster by yourself, even though you're very talented, than three cars racing together here at Spa.
No, not with these straights. I mean, you need the help, but the one advantage that he might have, and keep in mind, we're getting really close to the halfway mark, so these guys might be starting to think about pit stops. Is maybe not so much coming in by himself as much as coming in with nobody behind him, because the pit entry here can be a little bit on the tougher side. I mean, you're doing it in the middle of the tightest chicane on the track, and if you don't have anybody behind you, I mean, you have a little bit less chance of having an accident when you're running in a pack.
I like that idea. I like that as well. Now, the boxes are laid out by how they qualify, so Numb qualified second. He'll be able to keep an eye on Tran. He'll see exactly what's going on if they come together. If they come in together, he can sit back there, and when Tran leaves, he can follow right behind him. Okay, now that's settled down. Let's go back and give a little bit of love here to 19th position. Nice little fight going on back here for 18th. Fritkin in 19th. Tony Matthews in 18th. Jacob Younger back there in 20th. And let's move up one spot. Let's go up to, we've seen this before. This is Barros and Kick. I think Kick is probably going to try to make a pass going down into the bus stop. Nope. Just laying back right now. Okay, now some big names have come in. Allard has come in for a stop. Lundgren, Hallberg, and Kamara. Those guys all were racing close together, and they've all decided to come in. Our director's on it right now. So 4 cars have decided to make the first move here as they come in with 24.5 minutes still to race. Rolling first is the 74 machine of Allard, tucked right in behind there. That was Hallberg tucking in behind him. In fact, they are out. Lundgren's going to have to really hurry. He's back there. He's going to have to really hustle to get up there. He's about 2 seconds back of the 2 guys that got in and out. Look at pit stop times. Allard was in his box for just under 14 seconds, 13.8. I'm sorry, Hallberg 13.8, Allard for 15.2. Hallberg really, really fast. Got to start to worry that Hallberg took enough fuel. We'll keep that in mind. Make a little note of that when we get to the final lap. Well, those 4 all decide to come in together. Let's see if our leaders all decide to come in together. They're working through 15 right now.
Well, at least it does kind of give us an idea of what kind of pit stop times we should be looking for here out of these guys.
Now they are on the gas. Tran's going to go ahead and jump into the lead, wants to be first to the bus stop. Cocky in third. Numb has been racing back there at the back of the train for a while. Let's see if this is the lap they come in. It'll be a right, and then it'll be a straight. Nope, nope. nope, and nope. They're all going to stay out. One more time, Soup. Padavani and Houseman also stay out. And Houseman 1 lap down, remember?
I'm just watching Cocky here the last lap or so, and I'm beginning to think that that he's starting to feel a little bit more racy here. I mean, right before the pit stop, I mean, I'm starting to see him maybe stick his nose out a little bit more, try to take a look. Not necessarily trying to make a move for a pass, but you can definitely tell that's where his mind is starting to think.
We ride on board with Pierce right now. Pierce, a veteran of this series, been around for a long time. Look at this. This is a great view. Now watch, a hole will open up if he wants it. And he's not going to do it. He's going to back off. We work through this 5, 6, 7 little right, left, right combination. Heading down into, it's kind of a hairpin here, this Ravage, corner number 8. A tough one to get right for me. I always, when can I get on the gas? When can I get on the gas? Then down the hill you go. Into 10, the sweeping left-hander that has that big runoff area there to the right. Up in, looking to see if something has happened to Bradshaw. We're going to see if we can find it. Might have gone a little bit too far on this one. We'll see if we can hunt it down. There we go. Get a little Adam, get a little attention anyway. Looks like he just pulled it over. Again, this is sim racing. He's racing at his house. Could be any number of reasons that could cause that. UPS guy could have come to the door. His significant other might have been feeling amorous. You never know. There's lots of reasons. Use your imagination. We are back live now looking here at our leaders.
And they go another lap without coming in, so I think they're going for the long game here on this first rotation.
Yeah, it's gonna be a pit party, I think. Probably. If you're, I don't think I'd like to be right now in Burns's position, because he's the one guy that could miss the invitation. Out in front, if he decides to go an extra lap and all of a sudden Tran and Numb and Cocky all decide to come in behind him, he could be out there all by himself for a lap.
Well, we've seen that burn people before, though. I mean, when they ended up coming out in a good enough pack of cars, they've been able to retain their speed. So, I don't know. That's still a risky play for all those guys.
Here's the shot through the middle. We haven't seen this one yet. There you go. It was demonstrated by Errol Numb. Tran was running in second. He went high. Burns protected on the inside, and the third place driver went right through the middle. So a while ago, Errol was running in fourth. Now he decided that he wants to be in the lead. Makes me think maybe this is the lap that they're all going to come in. Whoop, heard somebody. Barrows just looped it around and nosed it into the wall. He was running at the time in 10th position. It happened just in front of Tony Matthews. Nobody makes contact. Barrows does a good job of keeping the car on the grass, and then he exits. Yep. Bled his own blood there. Nobody to blame but himself on that spin.
Yeah, Top of Eau Rouge has claimed many a car over the years.
If the leaders decide to come in, we'll monitor the pit stops. If not, then we'll drop back through the field, see if we can pick up some guys that are really far back right now. Let's see what the leaders decide to do. We'll follow them along here as they're going to be full throttle now. Tran is going to decide that he would like to be first to the bus stop, so he makes that move on the inside. Num is going to give that up. Burns running in third, Cocky back there in fourth. I think that's how they're going to settle it as they get to the chicane. Num looking to the outside. Tran actually protected. I think Tran wants that line so he can get into the pits from here. Nope, I know nothing. And the leader goes in. The leader stays out. 2 cars come in. Num and Burns decide to pit. Cocky and Tran are going to go around one more time. The bad news is Cocky is well back of Tran, so they're not going to get a lot of help there unless Pierce can get caught up. So much for the pit party idea. They split it up, Adam.
Yeah, very interesting move here. I mean, obviously, like anything else, we'll have to see how it plays out. But the one concern that I have is what you just said, is that Cocky is a little bit off the trans rear wing.
Burns might have accidentally took tires. We see his car went up, and there he sits. Oh, he is burning right now. That is not only bad news for him, but that's bad news for his pit partner, Errol Num, who said, okay, we'll run together a lap. Fortunately, it's only going to be a lap, I would assume. There, Tran is now stuck as Errol's trying to get around. I'm sorry, looking at Errol trying to get around some lap cars. Tran is out there running by himself. Cocky has caught up to him.
The bigger part of that, though, is the fact that Euro Num is out there with other cars. I mean, and Neil Bamber and Andrew Leach, as we know, they're no slouches. So
right.
He's got some good company out there right now to help kind of keep him in the draft. Where Burns is out there all by his lonesome.
It's 28 seconds from Tran back to Num right now. So that's what Tran has to get in and out. We'll stay on this a little bit longer. Cocky has got there. I'm assuming they're coming in together this time, but
yeah,
how will they
Tran has already mentioned in chat that he is coming in this time.
Okay. Now, if I am Pierce Cocky, who has had fuel problems in the past, what I do is I forget all my numbers right now. I know I'm going to have Tran ahead of me. I follow him in. I stop with him, and when he leaves, I leave. And I don't pay attention to anything that I have set up. There is, you just hit the space bar, stop the fueling, and go. I'm sure Pierce appreciates my coaching. It comes free.
He's at least been able to catch right back up to the rear wing of Tran here the last half of this lap, so that's going to help him here.
Here they come. Good pit entrance. Now they have to look for their box. Now, if you're familiar with Spa, they don't have to go all the way around. This is not the full pit lane here. They're going to exit right after the Jack-in-the-Box clown. They'll get to come out. Nobody in Europe has any idea what that means.
I miss Jack in the Box.
All right, they are heading towards their box right now. We'll see if we can pick up Num. Num just crossing the start-finish line right now. And now Num heading into La Source.
Oh, Cocky's still back there.
Cocky, yeah. See, didn't take my advice. Tran is out well in front. Tran's out. Num is within shouting distance. Is Cocky still in his pit box? Cocky now finally out. He's 5 seconds behind Tran.
Euro Num going for the lead here.
And Num has the lead.
Or what will eventually be the lead. Because I do think, I don't think Padovani has come in yet.
Well, I think they're in. I think they're all in now.
Okay.
Everybody's
So,
in.
so that is for the lead.
So let's go ahead and run down your top 10 now that all the pit cycle has been done. I can't help but chuckle. Can't help but chuckle because here they are again, the two guys fighting for the championship. Errol Num and Tuan Tran running 1-2. And that's how it'll be unless one of them makes a mistake until they get to the final bus stop. Then it'll be a drag race to see who wins. We'll follow that one with 12 and a half minutes still to race. Drop back to third spot. It's Pierce Cockey. Now he is 6.5 seconds behind Tran. Clearly did not listen to the commentator's strategy. You got to go a long way back to get to David Burns. The reason he's so far back is he took tires. He might be faster, but with only just under 12 minutes of racing left, doubt if those are going to help him much. 5th position, Jefferson Padovani. We've talked about him. He's all by himself right now.
All I know is that if we end up finishing like this right now with Tuan Tran and Euro Num 1-2, doesn't matter which direction. In 2 weeks, folks, you're going to want to tune in for that show.
Look at the leaders right now, and here comes Tran. Nope, just going to peek in there a little bit. They'll just race together, let's dance. Neither one of them are fast enough to leave the other one behind. Probably a little more pressure on Arrow here as he's back by 4 points. He could really use the difference between a win and second place is 20 compared to 17. So basically, if Arrow could get the win, he's 1 point behind. Then it basically becomes if I beat you, I'm the winner. If you beat me, you're the winner type thing when we go to the final at Le Mans. Now, if Tran could get the win, that would open it up to 7 points. That would be a little different. Well, that goes on. Let's run down. Let's finish running down your top 10. How about we go to 6th position, Floris Bashar. Again, wearing the face that he keeps in a jar by the door. He's a lonely person right now. Liam Quinn back in 7th. Again, nobody really around him. 1.3 seconds ahead. To our first real battle other than the Tran-Nam battle, and this is Hallberg, Allard, and Lundgren. In fact, here comes Lundgren right now making a move on Allard. Allard drops back into 10th position. Lundgren up to 9th. And the champion, Johan Hallberg, out in front. I say that for now because coming through, excuse me, boys. Joachim Lundgren goes from 10th to 8th. And while that's going on, let's stay on this a little bit longer. Here comes Allard as he's going to go by Hallberg. And now he gets up alongside and gets that sorted out. He moves up to 8th as he goes around Lundgren. Those three guys working together to try to get to Mr. Excitement. Lee and Quinn up in 7th. That gap right now, 1.8 seconds. So there's your best battle. And wait, there's even a 4th driver that I left out of the mix there. Who did I leave out that's playing in there? Oh, it's Bambi. Oh, and he Bamber almost gets into Hallberg. Bamber back there in the 45, running in 11th. So we'll keep an eye on that one. The good news is they are far enough back that we'll be able to call the finish and then come back and take a look to see how that plays out. Before we go back up front, how about we drop back to those last 2 drivers we saw in the screen back there. Henrik Kamara in a battle with Andrew Leach for 12th. And basically that's your top 15. De Diego all by himself. Young Bluth all by himself right now. 16 Sancinelli.
We don't.
Oh, Matthews has had a spin. He was running just a little farther back in 19th. Yeah. You know what? I think, he got into it with Matthews, got into it with Younger. That's Younger out in front. This is Matthew closing. And they get together. Going right underneath it was Thomas Kick. So we got back there just It's time to see that action. There you see Younger in 18th now, all by himself. Adam, why don't we go back up, see what's going on up at the star of the show? Nope, we're going to stay back here a little bit. Oh, there we go. Now where Aeronum is up there, running in second position, watching Tran. We have 7.5 minutes left to race. A lap time around here is about 2 minutes and 50 seconds. Too much math for me to do. We'll figure this out. Maybe 3 laps to go here from here. Okay, we ran through the field a lot, so with apologies to the back markers, we will keep an eye on that battle we were looking at, but we'll focus most of our attention up here on the lead of the race and the lead for the championship. Right now, they are side by side. It is the Roland Estonian making a move on the left. To go ahead and take the lead, tucking back in, is a man who is desperate need of a nickname, Tuan Tran. Bushfink Racing Pink out in front. They sit third in the standings right now in the team championship. Of course, Aeronum doing that all by himself, not getting a lot of help from his teammate. Tuan Tran hoping to wrap it up, and I think a second place will probably be enough to wrap it up for Mama Jean Racing. Mama Jean watching right now, I know for sure. Owner of the team. Watching at home on her laptop in Lakewood. Now they're full throttle. Let's see where they want to be here. Tran probably doing the math, trying to figure out where do I want to be at this point. I guess I'm happy to be in second. Look at their pit stop times in the box. Num was in for 12.5. Tran was in for 12.4. Looking at the times of anybody who made a stop, I have the magic. Those were the 2 fastest times in the box of anybody who took a pit stop. It's going to be really close. The math is really close on whether it's 2 to 3 laps to go. In fact, we probably won't know. So close that we may not know until they come down to the chicane before they actually give us the white flag sometimes. So we'll follow this around here as there is now just at the 5-minute mark right now. And with pit stops being so fast for these guys, you almost have to hope that they are both hoping that it's only 2 laps to go. That's one of the strange things about a timed race. If this was a predetermined distance, you would know exactly how much fuel you had to take. But in a timed race, you're never quite sure if you have to go 8 laps after the stop or maybe 9. How much fuel do you need? You don't want to take the fuel for a lap that you're never going to race with bad intentions. If you run out of fuel, you want to do it on your cool down lap. Right now, Num out in front. Let's go back. We have time to go back. Look at this P8 battle. Look at this going on. This is Allard now on the inside, making a move on the outside as Lundgren. Watching back there, trying to get into the mix. Hallberg thinks better of it. The Bushfink driver backs out. In fact, you have 2 Bushfink drivers there. Those are cousin teams. Allard races for, I think, probably green, yellow, and then Hallberg, Allard, Hallberg is on green. There we go. Lundgren up there racing another Bushfink driver. Racing for yellow. Let's see. We can do that. Blue. All right. Well, the spectrums, all the spectrums of Bushfink racing. So 8th is Lundgren, Allard, and Hallberg. Bushfink, a dominating team, making their presence known not only here in the Absolute Beginner League, but almost any series that you see on iRacing. Hard to see one major event that doesn't have somebody racing for Bushfink. We're going to go back to the lead right now as they head towards the chicane. Tran is back there, just going to happily sit back in there and let Num take it around first. 2 minutes and 40 seconds to go as they cross the start-finish line right now. The director and I are in agreement. We think this is the white flag lap. Now, we're not going to get it actually officially shown to us until they get close to the bus stop, but we're pretty sure this is the white flag lap. The drivers know right now. So with apologies to all the other drivers, we're going to spend the next 2 minutes and 19 seconds watching these two champions. Two-time champion, the Rolling Estonian, Errol Num, up in front, followed by a one-time champion, Tuan Tran, hoping to join Errol Num as a two-time champ. Right now, Tran can do whatever he wants. They head down, looking to get into 5 and 6, and Tran has decided, all right, I will take it. They are side by side right now. Num on the inside, Tran on the outside. Does it really matter right now? Tran keeps that outside line. It looks like Num is happy to surrender the position. Nope. The Estonian dives in there. The Mama Jean car, the black and purple one, fights back. They are side by side. Looks like they are serious about leading right now. Bushfink Pink out in front. Tran now seeing what he can do as he gets to the inside, looking into Rivage, but he can't get it done. He's still there, though. He has a nose in. Now he has the momentum off the inside line. But now the preferred position is going to go back to Num. Num's going to be able to get the lead as they start down the hill. The number 21 car of Tran, he is seriously on the tailpipe. He looks to the inside, he backs out. That's not where he wants to make the move. They go through 10. I think it's all going to happen into the bus stop. Tran now sitting back there in second position. He's fallen a little bit back, 3/10 of a second back. Nothing to worry about right now. Num out in front. Num makes contact with a lap car. He gets into the back of Groom. They continue on. We're going to have that bookmark. Is the Bushfink car hurt? He's weaving it back and forth. The car could have some damage now. The nose is gone off of Num's car. He's going to have some serious straight line speed issues. That could have been the championship determining move right there. Num has decided to tuck back in behind. I don't know if that little Skippy is going to have anything, if he can even get behind now. Tran has the skinny pedal all the way to the floor. He begins to pull away. Num without a nose, without any wings. Num is off the track. The car is hard to handle. He is doing the best he can, but just to keep the car straight is all he can do. They come to the final chicane. It is the right-hander, the left-hander. Give the penultimate round of the absolute beginning series goes to Tuan Tran. Errol Num brings his noseless car home in second spot. Michael Groom gives the driver a bump as if Groom is upset. Yay, I won from Tuan Tran. Let's go back to 8th position, see how this plays out back here. We come across here, 8th position. Looks like it's going to go to Bamber ahead of Bream. Oh, Bream's a lap down. Leach is going to get 9th ahead of Camara. Quinn and Diego. They came up, when I was making the commentary, they came up on Groom so fast, I had the camera a little too tight. I was surprised to see anybody in front. We're going to go back now and take a look at this incident, and I'm going to be excited to watch it as well. Now we're going to go on board with the leader. He can see the lap car ahead. Yeah, you know what? Looking from that angle, I don't know where Groom was supposed to put the car. Yeah. I think it was just the closing speed he got there. Let's give Groom some credit. He left him the inside. We'll go from above. This will give us a good view. Now, remember, Groom's car has mass. It has to be somewhere on the track. Yeah. I think Errol just might have been surprised by the closing speed there. Okay, we have one more replay. I'll watch it with you. This is Quinn and Hallberg. This is that final battle coming. Look at these guys coming at you. I believe that's there. They work around. Oh, and there's a little. They make some contact, and that's Quinn involved in it with Hallberg. Those guys are both taken out. That's why they were not in the mix. As we went back to follow that battle to the start-finish line, they were not to be found. Woo! Well, Errol Numm's going to have some work to do now as they go to the last round at Le Mans, as he's going to be 7 points behind his the man he's trying his prey, the man he's trying to run down. You're watching the Global Sim Racing Channel's live coverage, live as it happens, of the Absolute Beginner League round number 7 here at Spa. We're going to take a short break, come back for some driver interviews. If you are Groom and you'd like to come in and talk to us, we would love to get your opinion of that when we're talking about Michael Groom. If you're a friend or family member, have him come into the interview booth. We'll be back in a few. Welcome back to Global Sim Racing Channel's coverage of the Absolute Beginner League's Formula Neagle. This is round 7 and 8 from Spa. And before we run down the standings, during the break, this has been a really interesting off-mic conversation. And we have talked about this backmarker confrontation with the leader here, and there's a lot of mixed opinions about this. Adam, what's your take on this one?
Well, it's one of those ones that, of course, the car being lapped is entitled to the room on the racetrack. Of course, it's the passing car's responsibility to make sure they make the move safely. But at the same time, certain exceptions, I think, have to be made for a close battle between two leaders on the last lap. Coming off a long straight like that, I think he was trying to let him by, but I don't know if the entry of the corner was the place to do it. If it was me, and this is my personal opinion, please don't blast me for it, but if it was me, I might have even pulled off into the grass in a controlled, predictable way and let them go on by on the straightaway much before you even got to the corner. You're going to get past anyway before the start-finish line. Why fight it at that point? But it's just one of those things.
I'm a proud, everyone knows me as a defender of back markers and Michael Groom. When they do something right, do something wrong. He's in a miserable situation there. Other than doing what Adam just said, which is basically just pull the car off on the grass, either he slows down and he makes a three-way situation when they're trying to make a pass down the straight, or he ends up in that position where it's corner entry, which is probably the worst place that if you want that to happen. It's man, it is. That's rough. That's you could argue that no matter how you look at it. Let's go ahead and run down. I loved it. I thought it was really interesting. I can't wait to go to the forum and see what people have to say about it. Let's run down the standings right now. And looking how no one is in our interview booth, I think there's some conversations going on amongst the drivers right now. Top 10, Tuan Tran. He's going to be 7 points ahead of Arrow Num. That means Num's going to have to beat Tran, and Tran's going to have some drivers between him and Arrow in the final race at Le Mans. Pierce Cockey gets third. Actually, that incident might have cost Pierce Cockey the win, because there's no guarantee that Tran and Num would have brought the cars home to the start-finish line. David Burns gets 4th position. Jefferson Padovani, very quiet 5th place finish from him. Flores Bashar. Joachim Lundgren comes home in 7th, 8th, 9th, and 10th to Ricard Allard. Bambi gets 9th and 10th for Andrew Leach. Adam?
Yeah, well, now we take a look at 11th place on back. Henrik Kamara about 37 seconds back behind your leaders. 12th place, Mr. Excitement, Liam Quinn. Javier De Diego missing almost like the front half of his car the entirety of that race, but able to maintain it on the lead lap. In fact, only 47 seconds behind the leaders, all things considered, and he finishes in the points. 14th, Fabian Youngbluth. 15th, Thomas Kick. Edgar Sancinelli coming home in 16th. Jacob Younger in 17th position. Roger Pricken 18th. Anthony Robinson coming home in 19th. And Mike Kublank in 20th.
Hidden Blackjack, Tony Matthews, and the double deuce spot goes to Oliver Elliott, the last car on the lead lap. Then the next few cars are 1 lap down. Former champion Johan Hallberg, we saw him get into that incident. And then, of course, Michael Groom, 24th spot. We saw him play an important role in the decision to who won this race. Bastian Hausman, 25th spot. Vincent Bream, 26th. 27th, 28th, and 29th go to Didier Smith, Daryl Bland, and Guillermo Barros. And then the 30th spot is Adam Bradshaw. Adam?
Yeah, of course, now we're in course. A lot of these guys have had troubles at one point or another. Andy Moore coming home 9 laps down. Ionis, Christian Lulu, 9 laps down. Adam Olenson, 10 laps down. Kevin Mills finishing 10 laps off the pace. Hugo Hernandez Gutierrez in 13 laps down. Mark King, 36th position. Mihail Hafedazen, 37th position, 14 laps off the pace after his unfortunate incident. 38th position belongs to Luke Trujillo. Rodrigo Capoloto Ferreira coming home in 39th, and 40th, Jay Buge.
41st spot goes to Nick Sigley. Stuart, let's call him Stu. He doesn't like to be called Stuart. Stu Mathers in 42nd position. Andy Bonar, 43rd. 44th goes to Matthew McMahon. There we go. And finally, Kevin Donaldson, 45th. All right, we have nobody in the... Oh, there we go. We do. Popping in third-degree burns. We'll go ahead and bring David in here and talk to him right now. David, congratulations on where'd you finish up? 4th place there. Pierce got the better of you. Before we go to the end, and maybe I don't know if you had a chance to look at what happened up front. I'd love to get your opinion of it. Let's go ahead to the pit stops. Had the tires checked? Does that one happen there?
Yeah, without swearing, I got well and truly pooed in the pit stop. That's now the 3rd official race I've had this week where I've unchecked tires and it's given me tires. Great. Yeah, really, it's very anticlimactic from the commentator's point of view, and I'm sure you are upset by it. You're in the hunt. You come in for that stop. I think you came in with numb, if I remember right. You were first to pull off, and then tires.
Yeah, that's pretty much what I said, with a few expletives in between. Tires. But yeah, I was having a really good race up until that point. I was enjoying myself. I thought, yeah, I've got the pace. As long as my pit stop goes okay. I probably shouldn't have said that to myself, because that's probably what jinxed it, I think.
Well, let's talk about your thought about the strategy, though, because Adam and I were talking about when there were 4 of you guys, whether you really want to be up front. If you're up front, you risk being left out of the party if the 3 guys pit behind you. Why did you decide to come in when you did?
Well, I was going to come in either the lap I went in or the one after. I only had 2 more laps worth of fuel. So it was just fortunate when Eero went in. I thought, great, I've got a partner to go in with. I was really hoping I was going to come out with him at the same time.
Okay, I don't know if you've had a chance. Adam and I and Amjad, we've been talking about it. Have you had a chance to look at the incident that decided the race? Were you able to get a peek at that one?
Yeah, I did. And
I would be interested to find out. Be interested. Now, keep in mind, try to look at both sides of the story. What's your opinion on that one, if you don't mind, if you care to share it with us?
Yeah, sure. And remember, this is my opinion, so others might be slightly different. But where the back marker lifted wasn't exactly the cleverest thing. I don't know what it is with some back markers, but lifting in a corner is never the best idea in the world. However, from my opinion, it looked like Eero stayed a bit too far left. I don't know. I mean, I only watched it once, so I'd have to go back and watch it again, but I'm not sure why he stayed so far left. I think maybe he just got blinkered. Maybe he just thought the guy was going to turn and he was going to follow him round. So,
yeah, it is really I can't wait to go to the forums to see what people have to say, because it's a tough situation if you're a back marker to be in. Hopefully you want to get that sorted out, like you said, before you get to the corner. But then when you're in that situation, short of putting it on the grass, it gets rough. Hey, thanks for coming in and at least giving us an interview. Good luck the rest of the way. Hey, the good news for you, no Fliss here today, so it looks like 3rd place. I feel pretty secure about that for you.
Yeah, it would have been 4th, or it would have been better than that, I suppose. But, yeah, cheers for that, guys.
All right, congratulations. There you go, 4th place for Burns. All right, let's go ahead, and I think that's going to wrap it up for us, as we have nobody else. So let's go ahead and close up shop. Hey, you do not want to miss next week. We're going to talk about it later on here when we close up, but I'm going to say it right now. 2 weeks from today, we'll be in Le Mans, and the championship will be decided. Come on, 70 minutes of racing. It's going to be fun. Let's go ahead and thank everybody in the Absolute Beginner League for organizing Formula Neagle and for contracting with GSRC to broadcast it. Also thanks to ilovesimracing.co.uk. I Love Sim Racing is a website where you can find quality-made sim racing button boxes custom-made to your own personal design, making your sim racing experience more realistic and fun. It helps you execute all those important in-race vehicle settings. You know who should get one of these is David Burns. And pit stop changes, giving you that extra edge on the track, all at a very affordable and competitive price. Working closely with you, it's their goal to create the exact button box layout that you've been looking for, figuring out what it is you want and what it is you don't want, resulting in a box just for you that nobody else has. Your button box will not only work for your PC, but also on your PlayStation 4 platform as well. ilovesimracing.co.uk, the home of your personal created button boxes.
Yeah, and of course, thanks to the companies and, excuse me, 1 second here. Thanks to the company's equipment and software that you see on the screen now that we use on our broadcast. The original music you've heard on today's broadcast is thanks to Eric Epcombe and Casey Lalonde. See the screen for how to contact each of them. Next up, as Sue mentioned, as we talked about, this is going to be exciting. Formula Neagle, 2 weeks, April 23rd for the Season 10 finale in Le Mans. GSRC is going to be there when we crown the champion. It is going to be a tight points battle, and we hope you join us.
Oh, now it's my turn. Here we go. I should be paying attention there. If you'd like to find out more about GSRC, including dates and times of all upcoming broadcasts, your best bet, of course, is GlobalSimRacingChannel.com. We're also on Twitter at GSR Channel and Facebook at Global Sim Racing Channel. Finally, on behalf of the man whose voice you just heard there, Adam Young, our director, Amjad Yaman, and camera artist, Dougie Beard, I'd like to thank all of you for watching. With that said, we're off to have fun storming the castle, so until next time, race clean, race hard, and we'll see you on the track.